My name is Lilah Saber. I'm the Philadelphia Organizing Director for Power Interfaith. I've been with Power 7 years next month. I played a lot of different roles, from intern to organizer in the suburbs to Philly organizer and now to the Philadelphia Organizing Director. What initially drew me to the mission was that I knew I wanted to be an organizer. I had organized in public high schools in Philadelphia. I knew I wanted to build political power in our communities. But I myself was a person of faith. I came from an interfaith household with a Muslim father and a Christian mother. And there was something about Power's mission where we were able to draw on these ancient traditions and ancient stories about regular people defeating empire that made something really click for me, where I was like, oh, I don't just want to be an organizer. Actually, I want to be a faith-based organizer, and Power was the place to do it. I think my parents contributed. My parents always taught me values around justice and caring for our neighbors as the most important thing behind loving God. But I think more broadly it was growing up as a young Arab kid in a mostly white town and watching what was happening around me politically, both the 2008 financial crisis, both the start of the Black Lives Matter movement. And for me, one of the most important moments was Arab Spring, the 2011 revolution in Egypt, where, again, everyday working people in Egypt decided to stand up to the government that was not supporting them and fight for a real democracy there. I was in high school when that happened, and I watched it, and it was the first moment I was like, oh my God, like, people could actually stand up and this thing could actually work. So I think it was watching those moments, watching my people stand up and say, like, we're not going to take this anymore, that inspired me to come into the justice movement. So about 2 years ago in Philly, we made the decision to rebuild our neighborhood teams so people could organize in their neighborhoods. So we built a West Philly team, a Northwest Philly team, a North Philly team, and a Center City team. And we said, go organize around whatever you want to organize around. And our leaders and our congregations came back, and it was all about housing and gentrification and land use and the fact that our people couldn't afford their rent or their mortgage at this point anymore. And so this year we made the decision to launch what we're calling the Pathway to Power, where we're going to run about 100 house meetings and neighborhood meetings and congregational meetings to do two things. One is that we want to figure out, like, what's the real pain of our people around housing and gentrification in our city? Like, what are our people actually feeling, and what's the impact on their lives? And then two is we want to build a really strong base around these issues in our congregations, because we're going to need a lot of people and a lot of power if we're going to take on the issue of housing in this city. At the end of this, we are going to launch our first citywide campaign since our very first campaign all the way back in 2011 around housing, and we're going to fight for it and we're going to win. But what I do know in doing these house meetings is that, one, people are really fired up about this. No matter the neighborhood, no matter the faith of the person, no matter even race or age or gender, people are feeling the impact of the fact that developers are buying up our city every single day. And people are seeing the changes that are happening in their homes, in their neighborhoods, and they are mad and they want to do something about it. I hear stories that come back from these meetings almost every day of, our elderly folks in our churches on fixed incomes talking about hundreds of dollars of rent increases a month. I hear stories about developers purposely sabotaging people's homes so they could buy them. I hear stories of, giant high-rises getting put up in neighborhoods that used to be known as affordable. And I also hear on the flip side, again, a real commitment to wanting to do something about it, which is what excites me the most. It's not just that our people in Philadelphia have given up and said, like, developers own our city now, developers run our city, and we're just going to sit back and take it. Like, our people want to fight. And that's what makes me really excited.